We want to welcome you here this afternoon to our Horn Dorset show here at the Big E. As we mentioned, this is our final single breed judging competition that we will have here before we judge our Supremes at 4 p.m. Good catch there, Isaac Gargas. These are fall bore ram lambs. We want to introduce you to our judge once again as Mr. Jeff Rapaski from Lonsdale, Minnesota. Judge is a noted sheep breeder and sheep judge as well. He owns the Northern Star Livestock Company, where they run about 450 head of Southdown and market type ewes in Minnesota, not too far from Minneapolis, Twin Cities area. He's worked shows from all over the United States as well as down at Louisville and done several national breed shows as well. Later on today, once again at 4 o'clock, we will be judging our Supreme Champions, and we will be starting with the Rams. We will also be featuring our People's Choice Awards, so we have a lot of fun at 4 o'clock right here in our show ring.
And fall buck in the Horn Dorset show. There's only 3 entries, but I think there's 3 off on good bucks in their own right. The buck I'm going to start with today, this buck's just super straight down his top. There's not a deviation from his lines one bit. When you get your hands on him, you really like him that way. He's really nice on his, when you get him into motion, he travels out nice. If I was going to change him any at all, I'd probably maybe try to switch him a little bit in these pasterns, but I don't think it's near enough for me not to get away from using him today. The buck in second, a really complete buck. I really like him from the side view. A buck that maybe shortens up a little bit for me from his 13th rib back, but the buck in second here is the buck that I really like him on his feet and legs. I like him about his pasterns. He's right up on him. When he moves around the ring, he's really true and free again. The buck here in third, a little longer sided buck maybe, but a buck when you put him into motion just doesn't travel quite as good as the 2 that's right in front of him. A nice class of fall bucks.
Congratulations, exhibitors. We'll weigh these 3 ram lambs. We just have 1 entry in our winter spring class, so don't go too far. We'll be doing the pairs and our champion ram here quickly. Okay, here we go is our spring ram lamb. Here's the placings in the fall class we just completed. First place honors went to Paul Castle from Wytheville, Virginia. Ring number 652 with Castle 73.66. He weighed 229. The second place ram in the class was bred by Ridge Betts from Felton, Delaware. Ring number 651 with Ridge Betts 155, and he weighed 205. Third place honors went to the Ridge Betts flock with ring 650 with Gadsby 1549, and he weighed 190.
Only got a single entry here in this winter buck class, but that buck is awful nice in his own right. You really appreciate him down his top line on his feet and legs, and when he gets out and moves. We can reconsider him when we bring him out in the drive.
Okay, we'll weigh him, and then the folks outside line your rams up here for your pair competition. And then we'll keep them out here and pick a Grand Reserve champion ram for the Horn Dorset show. Now up here at the announcers table, we have some added awards for the Horn Dorsets, and our grand champion ram is going to take home an added bonus donated by Spring Hill Farm, Mike and Kelly Wright and family from New Hampshire. Our class-winning spring ram lamb was from the Paul Castle flock of Virginia. And that was with TAC 160, and he weighed 176. Our first place pair of ram lambs were from the Castles and Ridge Betts.
No,
got them switched. Ridge Betts with the class winners and Paul Castle with the runner-ups. Both our class-winning ram lambs here were from the Paul Castle flock, and Ridge Betts had the runner-up, the second place ram, over in the fall lamb class.
Hooray for your champion Horn Dorset buck today. For me, that's pretty. I'm going to stay with my two senior buck lambs for your champion reserve champion Horn Dorset buck. Congratulations, guys.
Our champion ram goes to Castle Horn Dorsets of Virginia, and Ridge Betts from Delaware with the reserve. And that plate was donated by Spring Hill Farm, Mike and Kelly Wright and family from New Hampshire. Our best-headed Horndorser ram went to the Paul Castle flock of Withville, Virginia. We will be calling our yearly new class here in a few moments. Some of our exhibitors are located to the far outskirts of the barn here, so it does take some time to get the animals up here to the show ring. So we have plenty of time this afternoon before our 4 o'clock Supreme Champion judging here in our arena. We'll be again at 4 o'clock. We have People's Choice Awards as well as 3 judges. We'll be helping pick our Supreme Champion Ram and Supreme Champion ewe over all breeds of the 10 different breeds of sheep that were exhibited here this week at the Big E. This is our class of Horn Dorset yearling ewes. These are ewes approaching a year to a year and a half of age. They'll be going back to the flocks from where they came from and produce lambs or little ones here that will either be used in the breeding flocks and programs in the future, or if they're not of desirable enough quality, they'll be sent to slaughter. The Horn Dorset breed is one of the oldest breeds here in the United States, tracing their ancestry back to England. You'll notice their prominent feature. They are the only breed of sheep in our barn this week that has horns. They're a very fast gaining animal. Their lambs are real quick to get to market, to fleshen up, or to grow very quickly. They're great converters of grass and forage into good red lamb meat, and oftentimes they're just real nice and young and fresh when they are sent off to market. The Horn Dorset's a popular breed, really gained a lot of popularity here in the last 5 to 10 years. Numbers have been growing and more people are actively raising Horn Dorset sheep. So they're a good animal and very farm friendly and a nice breed to raise. Our judge is looking at these animals here from a side view. You saw him go down and handle the tops and feel the rumps of those sheep, and what he was checking for was amount of muscling underneath that coat of wool, and what that was telling him was it's an indicator. The strength or the muscling on the back and the rump, those are going to be transmitted to their offspring in the future. So he wants to combine how much meat and muscling they have, their overall size, their structural soundness. We like an animal that has a good straight top on it. We like a good set of feet and legs. Our judge is very critical the way the animals move about and the way they walk and travel, because they do have to go out into the fields and, of course, in the west up over the hills and mountains, and these animals must be able to move about. So we're critical of that. Also, if you look at the head structure on these sheep, that's what we refer to as a breed character, and all the animals in the barn we do have different breeds, and they all have their own distinctive look. The Horn Dorset, one of the things we have to be critical about is that horn growing itself back into the eye, which can happen. So if they are an animal where that horn is getting close to the side of the face, that's a very strong discrimination. We don't like that, just for the safety of the animals. So anyway, there are a number of traits that he's considering before he makes his final decisions here in the show. If you'd like to follow along, we have programs. They have a yellow cover over here on the bleachers. You can pick one up and follow along the breeding. The numbers these exhibitors all have on their hip or on a shirt pocket, that's the exhibitor number that corresponds to the information in the catalog about the sheep that's being exhibited.
Horn Dorset here in new class. I'm going to start with, she's by far the most complete and sound, especially when you put her into motion. That's where she excels the class. Really straight down her top lines. I like her horn, her head, breed type, and her horn set a lot better than I do on my second place ewe. Second place ewe, large ewe, really upstanding. You like a lot of things about her as far as being her length of body and up to her front end. This ewe, when you put her into motion, she gets a little more restricted for me. I just thought she's a pretty logical place for second for me today. The ewe in third, I really like some things about this ewe. You get your hands on her, she's really long from her 13th rib back as far as her body length compared to her hind saddle. For me today, you get her into motion, she gets restricted off them rear wheels for me as far as the amount of reach that she has to get to cover that front hole. That's why we put her in third today. The ewe here in fourth, this shortens up a little from flank to flank for me today. Ewe that I'd like to just see her a little better off her rear pastures for me to challenge the three that's above them. Then we run into Ewe next in line. Just a real complete kind of Ewe, a real broody Ewe. I like that a lot about her. Ewe, when you get your hands on her, just not as long in her percentage from her hind saddle compared to the ones that stand above her. But a nice class of Dorset yearling Ewe, horn Dorset yearling Ewes.
Congratulations, exhibitors. We'll weigh these first three, and then we'll line up our two pairs of yearling ewes. Here in our pair of yearling ewe class, Castle Horn Dorsets placed first, and Ridge Betts from Delaware placed second. Here are the results of our yearling ewe class. First and second place honors went to Paul Castle Horn Dorsets from Virginia. The class winner was ring 659 with E. Castle 303, and she weighed 230. The runner-up, ring 658, was PRC 337, and she weighed 244. The third place yearling ewe was ring 656, bred by Ridge Betts from Delaware on RB 123, and she weighed 207. Our fourth place honors went to Ridge Betts, and in fifth place was Taylor Mason from Worthington, Massachusetts, with Splendor View 1510. That class will read down 3 with a weight of 207, 4, 1 at 230, 2 weighing 244, and 5. And that fifth place lamb is also our first place junior.
over here on the Horn Dorset side. The fall ewe lamb I'm going to start with, if you haven't figured out, I'm all about travel and being able to get around the ring, and this ewe lamb does that in the ring. I'll be the first to grant she's not the biggest one in the class. She's not the longest sided one in the class, but she percents out all right for me today. She's super straight down her top. When you put her into motion, she actually controls her rear wheels the best and gets around the ring in a fluid motion. The ewe lamb in second, I really love this ewe lamb off on the profile side. I like the head about her. I like when you get your hands on her, she's extremely long from her 13th rib back. I just wish when we put her into motion, she could travel like the ewe lamb that we start the class with. If we do, this class is a slam dunk for her. The ewe lamb here in third, another one just like the ewe lamb in second, a really long-sided ewe lamb, real pretty up to her front end. I'd like to maybe change her horn set a little bit for me. When you put her into motion, we need to make her travel a fair bit better for me today to challenge the two above her.
This time we're ready to work our winter and spring ewe lambs into the ring. We have 4 entries in this class. Backing up a step, we will share the results of the fall ewe lamb class. In that, first and second place honors went to Ridge Betts of Felton, Delaware. His class winner was ring 664 on Ridge Betts 157, and she weighed 186 pounds. Our second place ewe lamb was shown by Ridge Betts with N Richardson 154. She was a daughter of Stay Thirsty and weighed 205. And in third place was Paul Castle from Wytheville, Virginia, with Castle's 73.23, and she weighed 190. The lambs we have in this class are our spring and winter ewe lambs. The oldest is born January 3rd through February 4th. The young lady to the judge's far left has in the ring.
in the Horn Dorset, the spring ewe lamb class. Ewe lamb I'm going to start with, I think she just excels the class as far as up through her front end, the length of body to her, and the amount of bone that she stands on. When you get your hands on her, she's really nice down at top and out through her hip area. Just an awful nice individual to start with. Ewe lamb here in second, real nicely neat constructed ewe lamb down her top and out through her hip. Her ties into her shoulder very nice and tidy. A ewe lamb that gets around the ring really nice on her feet and legs. Just need more of her to challenge the one that we win the class with. Then we come into ewe lamb here in third. A really super complete ewe lamb, really good on her feet and legs when you move her around the ring. Just not near as much of her to compete with the two that's up above her. Then we come into the ewe lamb next here in line. Real kind of broody ewe lamb that's real opened up in her rib shape design. Ewe lamb is just standing on a little frailer bone for me today. Maybe just need to change her a little bit on them rear pasterns to compete with the three that's above her.
Congratulations, exhibitors, with a nice class of junior ewe lambs. If you have an entry in the pair class, you may line them up at this time. Our first place winner in spring ewe lamb was shown by Paul Castle of Whitfield, Virginia, on ring number 669. She weighed 175. The second place lamb was shown by Ridge Betts of Delaware, ring number 668, and the lamb weighed 144. And in third place was Taylor Mason from Worthington, Massachusetts, ring number 670. That was on Castle's 5126, and she weighed 145. And Taylor's lamb was first in the junior class, and she also had a lamb that was second. That was her fourth place lamb, was second in the junior show. So Taylor will be bringing those two lambs back along with her yearling ewe to compete and select one for the junior show champion reserve ewes. Our first place pair of ewe lambs go to Ridge Betts of Felton, Delaware. Second one to Paul Castle of Whitfield, Virginia, and Taylor Mason's lambs rounded out the group in the third place pair.
out here in Horn Dorset Champion U Drive. Not a real big show. I think the quality's been awful good. There's 6 females out here that I know will be probably in a show in November. The ewe for me today, there's 2 ewes that I like fairly well that you can give and take. One ewe I'd sure like to change her horn a little bit about her. The other ewe I'd like to maybe just stretch her out just a little from flank to flank. But give and take, and I'll go out and I'll pick your champion reserve Horn Dorset ewe for.
Our champion ewe goes to the Ridgebet flock of Delaware. And a reserve grand champion ewe goes to Castle Horn Dorsets from Virginia. Congratulations to each of you exhibitors on a job well done. We get our pictures here for Nancy, and then we'll get those juniors back in here. Taylor Mason will bring your lambs in, and we'll pick a champion and reserve from your 3 before we go in to our flock competition, which will be followed by the best headed. Right, the best head first, and then the groups will follow. Taylor Mason has all 3 of these animals here. The first place yearling ewe, and then our 2 junior lambs also from Taylor Mason. And we're going to put our champion on our ewe lamb, and reserve goes to the yearling ewe. Congratulations. Okay, Dorset exhibitors, let's bring in your ewe for the judging of our best headed ewe. And once again, that's going to be donated by Tom Walsh of Cat's Paw Farm up in Maine. Has always been a strong supporter here of our Big E, and also for helping select the best headed Horn Dorset ram and ewe. Our first place exhibitors flock winner went to Castle Horn Dorsets of Wytheville, Virginia. The runner-up in that group was shown by Ridge Betts. And Ashley Cron, we want to get some pictures here while you got them up here by the show ring. Don't go far. Next will be our breeders' flock. We have one entry here in the breeders' flock, and they all 5 must be bred and shown by the exhibitor. We do have one animal that's going to be exchanged here and brought back for the Ridge Betts flock. Likewise, we have one entry in our Get of Sire class.
Okay, so.
And that will be from Ridge Betts. Our first place breeders' flock went to Ridge Betts, as well as the first place Get of Sire. We need a representative now from the Ridge Betts flock and also Paul Castle. There's a representative from the Paul Castle flock here nearby. Kay Betts, on behalf of the Eastern States Exposition, we're proud to present to you the Premier Exhibitor Award here at this year's Big E. Congratulations. Let's give him a nice round of applause on a job well done. And Paul Castle, if you would. Likewise, winning the Premier Breeder Award, we have Ashley Cron representing the Paul Castle flock here. Congratulations, Ashley. Also for Paul on a job well done. Well, folks, that's going to complete our sheep show here until 4 o'clock when we come back and pick our Supreme Champion Rams and ewes. You're all invited. We're going to have a few minutes of some picture demonstrations ongoing here, and we'll make sure you